Hi, I'm Matt Metcalf. This is Parenting with DBT. I'd like to thank you all for being here and for tuning in. Today I'm talking about an important topic. It's called how to get your adolescent to do DBT skills when they're upset or anytime. Well, as you know, a lot of DBT is about increasing motivation, and there's tons of motivational techniques that DBT therapists do. And many of those skills parents can do as well. So a common situation is that you're experiencing something with your adolescent and they're emotionally dysregulated and you want them to use a skill because they're dysregulated. And you found that when you ask them to do a skill, they absolutely refuse to do the skill. Or you find that if you ask them about doing skills, they say something discouraging, like skills are stupid. I don't want to do a skill. So I want to talk about some ways that we can avoid that happening. Here's the whole thing. It's very difficult to get a person to do a skill if your behavior is the prompting event for the emotional dysregulation. Okay? So if I'm arguing with my wife and she's yelling at me and I'm yelling at her, right? We're like going back and forth, which has happened. It's not going to be helpful if I go to the freezer and hand her some ice, unless I want her to throw the ice at me, and that's the goal, because that's probably what's going to happen. So it's really important to understand that if you're the person that is bringing on the turbulence, then it's going to be very difficult to get them to do a skill. So in this case, I would recommend using something. If you're in an argument and you can tell that your loved one, your child, your adolescent is becoming emotionally dysregulated, I would recommend using kind of a unilateral method of parenting, which involves modeling the appropriate behavior. So the idea here is that if you're arguing with your adolescent and you think that your adolescent needs to do skills, that might be a sign that you need to do skills. And so I would recommend that if the skill is tip, if the skill is observing, describing, you do it first, and therefore you model that skillful behavior is the way to go. You don't ask them to model the behavior first, followed by you. So that's kind of the first, that's something that's enjoyable to know. You need to know that. If they're just emotionally dysregulated and you're not the prompting event and the argument with you isn't the prompting event, then you can, in a very validating way, encourage them to do skills. But I wouldn't recommend saying, can you do a skill? Because can you do a skill for many is interpreted as invalidating. And it's very hard to even tell a person that they need to do a skill or that they should do a skill. The best way to do it is to help them do the skill by bringing them materials. If you feel like they should do the tip skill, bring them ice. If you feel like they could do a deer man or that they might need to do deer man, just recommend it and don't necessarily tell them to do it. The key is you want to have an easy manner, and you want to be very validating, which brings me to the skill you can use. You can probably use the give skill, which is be gentle, act interested in them, validate, and have an easy manner. That tends to be the best way to get a kid to use a skill. All right. Now, our kids do skills all the time, and we're just not mindful of it. And I would encourage parents to be more mindful of the skillful behaviors that their kids already have or that they're trying to use, because the best way to get kids to do skills is to reinforce the fact that they do it and to express your approval and to give them a lot of positive reinforcement for the things that they do. So this concludes how to get kids to do a skill. And thank you for tuning in. And if you haven't liked and subscribed already, please do so. And it's just great to be able to do Parenting with DBT. So thank you. Thanks for being here. See you next time.